yourselves. Our new mikvah, for sure, is a spa for the body. You won't believe it if you haven't yet seen it. And you'll ask the mikvah attendants the feedback they get every night, an average of more than 20 women using it a night from throughout the community, whose lives are elevated, whose homes are sanctified by the access and use of our mikvah. Countless men every morning, Erev Shabbos, using our men's mikvah. It's a spa. It's magnificent. The design, the functionality, the beauty. It's a spa for the body. And that's beautiful and it's lovely and it elevates the experience and it makes it more beautiful and more exciting to be there. But the mikvah is much more than just a spa for the body. The mikvah is a spa for the soul. You know, the only thing that's as holy as Yom Kippur, that's as powerful as prayer, and that is the secret of the sanctity and the holiness and the shalom, the peace in marriage, is the mikvah. Is the mikvah. Mishnah Yuma tells us, "Hey, Amar Bekiva, Ashreichem Yisrael, Ma mikvah metaris atmeim afakadosh baruch hu metaris Yisrael." Someone who's tamei, somebody who's impure, somebody who's had contact. What is tumah? Tumah is contact with the death of potential, the loss of potential. Tumah is when a person is down and out and downtrodden. Tumah is when a person feels despair. Tumah is when a person feels distanced. Tumah is when something, a hope, a dream, a life is unrealized, is unfulfilled. Conception doesn't take place. And just like the mikvah is metayrus into name, the mikvah, it purifies, it lifts up, it transforms, it elevates that person who's down and out, who feels distance and despair, who feels hopeless and helpless. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, really the essence of the mikvah experience is to make contact with the divine, is to feel Hashem's love and His support. Tzaddik HaKohen of Lublin explains that HaKadosh Baruch Hu purifies a Jew, a Yid, the same way the mikvah does. The mikvah only works if you're entirely immersed in it, nullified and surrendering to it. If there's one hair that's sticking out from the mikvah, it doesn't matter how hard the person prepared. It doesn't matter if there's no other barrier on the body. It doesn't matter how clean and perfect the water. It doesn't matter how halachically appropriate the mikvah. If there's one hair that is emerging from the mikvah, then the person is not purified. The person has to be entirely immersed, submerged, surrendering. And similarly, a relationship to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to the Rebbeinu Shalom, to the Almighty, a Jew has to be totally immersed in their relationship with Hashem, surrendering to Hashem, and relinquishing and nullifying their own sense of self to Hashem. And the power, the transformational power of the mikvah, is that a person comes and practices the ultimate nullification. When a person enters the mikvah, a man or a woman, a Jew or a person who will momentarily become a Jew, they come before God the way they were created, bare, disrobed. They come before God, there's no inhibition, there are no layers. They come before God, there's no security or protection, there is no costume, there's no mask, there's no personality, there is nothing but the essence of who they are. They've stripped it all away, literally and figuratively. And when they walk down those steps, and they bend down and immerse in that mikvah, they are entering an environment in which we surrender to Hashem. You can't breathe underwater. You cannot survive there. We say, Hashem, for this moment, I nullify, I relinquish all who I am. I surrender with faith to you. Ma mikvah metaris Yisrael HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Just like the mikvah has the capacity, metaris HaTameim, just like it purifies the impure, Hashem, you are metaris Yisrael. The mikvah experience is not, you're not cleaning, we're not bathing, we're not using it as a spa, but we are there to be transformed spiritually, to feel closer connection, to lean in and immerse ourselves, to surrender in a connection to Hashem. The water for the mikvah is gathered on the roof. We can do tours of that if you want to. We have ladders available. It's gathered on the roof, and normally, so the roof doesn't collapse, it drains into a sewer. But when we're ready to fill the mikvah, we plug that drain and we unplug the ones to fill the mikvah. The water comes, it's natural water. It was never held in a kli. If it was held in a utensil, it makes it invalid. It's not valid, disqualifies such water. Shuvim is disqualified for the mikvah. It runs directly into a pit, and that pit, through the hole, connects to the pit where people immerse. The pit where people immerse is purified and is clarified, is cleaned, and is filled, but it is connected through a hole, through neshika, through a kiss, through affection, to the original water. So when one immerses in it, they are returning to the womb, to embryonic fluid, and they're dressed the day they were born. There is no barrier. There is no inhibition. There's no protection or security. We return the way we were. Sort of Tzaddik says the power of the mikvah. Ma mikvah mataras etmeim. Person who's made contact with death, the death of a moment, the death of a bad decision, the death of a relationship, the death of an unrealized dream. Or death, a corpse, tumah, the real source of tumah, they go in the mikvah. And we lay it all bare, and we strip away all of the barriers. We come before Hashem, entirely immersed. We don't come before Hashem, but there's one thing sticking out. We don't come before Hashem, but there's one part not emerged. It's all of who we are. It's the essence of our being. It is our everything. The mikvah is a place of hope. The three letters, the root of the word mikvah, is kuf vav hey. It means hope. And in Hebrew, when you put a mem in front of a shorish, in front of a root, you take that word and you indicate it's the place of that root. So kuf vav hey is a place of hope. Kuf vav hey is hope. And the mikvah, the mem, makes it the place of hope. It's a place of hope. It's a place where we take our dreams and our hope and we actualize it. Our ultimate hope by surrendering to Hashem, that He repairs this world fully, that Mashiach can come. But until then, to help us feel that bittul, that nullification, to turn to Hashem in our original state. That mikvah is a place of hope, and the people who've used it, and the people who've helped others use it, see that hope comes alive. The hope for conception, the hope for fertilization, the hope that that dream will be realized. A hope for shalom bayis, a hope to come home and re-engage with affection and intimacy. A hope for closeness and connection. A hope for converts to realize their dream of becoming a Jew. Just last Wednesday, we helped 4 more people become Jews. 4 more people who've accepted the yoke of Torah and mitzvahs, a Kabbalah's Torah and mitzvahs. It's our mikvah attendants who help. It's our, when we do conversions of babies and children who are adopted, adults who want to join the Jewish people and who meet all of the criteria. The mikvah is that place of their hope. It's a hope for men who, before they learn Torah, before they daven, want to immerse in the mikvah. The hope to be better and bigger. A hope to grow. It's a hope to use and elevate our kelim, the kelim mikvah. Instead of just being utensils and instruments to stuff our face and to eat in a secular sense, we immerse our utensils to make them Jewish utensils, to make them holy utensils, that the eating we do with them, that it elevate us, not bring us down to be like animals. Mikvah is a place of tikvah. It's the mem, the place of kaveh, the place of hope. It is the engine of hope. It is the source of hope. And that's why all of you who support it, and all of you who've renovated, and all of you who've made it beautiful, have made not just a spa for the body, but a spa for the soul. The requisite amount of water to be a kosher mikvah is a minimum of 40 sa'ah, mem sa'ah, about 15 gallons of water. It's a very powerful symbol, that number 40. Think about it. If we had more time, we would do this exercise. Where do you see the number 40? 40 days Moshe Rabbeinu goes up to get the luchos. Jewish people wander in the desert for 40 years. A baby. Arba'im Yom. 40 days, a vlad, a fetus is formed. Pregnancy is how long? 40 weeks. The flood took 40 days and 40 nights to purify the whole world. Rabbi Akiva examined his life and began again at what age? At 40. You see that number 40 come up over and over and over again. There's always a connection between change, hope, a brighter future, possibility, and the number 40. A mikvah, mem sa. Why? What's the connection? Every letter in the Hebrew alphabet has an element of nister and nigla. Something hidden and something revealed. My beard is white enough, I'm allowed to share this kind of stuff now. An element of hidden and an element of revealed. For example, the letter Aleph. How do you spell Aleph? Not just what an Aleph looks like, but Aleph is Aleph, Lamed, Pei. The Aleph is what you see, but the nister, what's hidden behind it, is a Lamed, and a Pei Sofi is Aleph. Aleph, Lamed, Pei. There's only one letter in the Hebrew alphabet, that what's revealed and what's hidden are exactly the same. How do you spell the letter Mem? Mem, Mem. The nister and the nigla. What you see and what is hidden, they're exactly the same. The potential, what's inside, and what is already realized in full, it's exactly the same. Mem, 40. 40, the way you spell it, what is hidden and what is revealed is exactly the same. The letter Mem represents consistency, actualizing potential, the fulfillment of hope, the bracha of promise. 40 is change, because for change to occur, we have to believe, we have to be filled with hope and with possibility of what we could achieve. I'll end by telling you the story. In the 60s and 70s, there was a man, a philanthropist, named Max Schreiber. He was known as Mr. Mikvah. Why was he known as Mr. Mikvah? Not because he went often, maybe he might have done that too, but he donated over 100 mikvahs in Israel. He had some emotional challenges. Where did he come to do that? People dedicate Sifrei Torah, they support Torah learning, they give to all kinds of causes. And by the way, you can all give to that too. But what led him to give to 100 mikvahs? He had some challenges in his life, and he went to see the Chazon Ish in the early 50s. And the Chazon Ish said, you should get involved in mikvahs. Why mikvahs? Why not all these other causes? He said to him that the Korban Pesach in Mitzrayim, when they were ready to leave, when we want to find freedom, if we want to liberate ourselves from what's holding us back, from the sadness and depression, from the distance and the tumah, how do we find freedom? How do we liberate ourselves from that which is holding us back? So the Korban Pesach, the Jews tied the seh to the bedpost. The sheep, the lamb, was tied to the bedpost in Egypt. It showed incredible courage and faith when they were willing to do that. Why there? Why not to the doorknob? Why not to the basketball hoop? Why not to the screen porch door? Why the bedpost? And the Chazon Ish said, because Jewish Mesiras Nefesh begins from the bedpost, from the bed. Taras HaMishpacha is the basis of Kedushas Yisrael, the sanctity of the Jewish people, the future of the Jewish people, the freedom and the redemption and the liberation of the Jewish people. It begins at the bedpost. It begins at the bed. It begins with Taras Mishpacha. It begins with Kedushas Yisrael, and that's what we're all here tonight, to express our gratitude and to celebrate and to thank. Thank you for being here to support our mikvah, our source of holiness and sanctity. Thank you for being here to support this place of hope, this mikvah, the place of hope. But our job is not yet over. We've not yet completed the costs of the new mikvah, even though the work is done. On your tables you'll find there are several opportunities still to add a plaque in honor, in memory, in dedication. There are several prep rooms available. There are washing stations. In the men's mikvah there are giving opportunities. If you're moved by this mikvah and by this opportunity, please join us and please partner. We'll even reconvene. We'll save the food. We'll reconvene to show the newer plaques. But it's not too late to step up. As you take that tour and you see that place and you think about how many people, the Shalom Bayis, the Taras HaMishpacha, the hope, the promise, the goal of greater growth and purity and learning and in davening, please consider partnering with and being part of it. You can speak to Talia, to Jeffrey, to me, to Chaim. We welcome any of your support. We thank you. And after the film, and we grant thank you to Zach for producing it and all those who were in it. Please help yourself to more food. Please take advantage to tour the mikvah for a few moments before mincha. Thank you all for being here, and thank you and enjoy.